markets. Since the Indian markets are doing so well, we thought it best to get in some macro note as well. And Morgan Stanley's Ridham Desai and team have put out that India strategy note in which they speak about why India continues to be our top emerging market pick. Now, yeah, this question mark is not needed, but there are a clutch of factors. They haven't bifurcated into it, but I have bifurcated into 3 buckets. So first, cross-asset factors. They say India's low beta is helping it to significantly outperform markets because the world markets or investors have realized that India is a low beta market per se. And weak global markets, the caution though, is that weak global markets can cap absolute returns, but relative returns, India will probably do well. The domestic factors which are at play for this, the strong macro stability with improving terms of trade. And this we can clearly see in a clutch of negotiations that are happening both from a G2G perspective as well as maybe G2B or B2G perspective. Then mid to high teens earnings growth annually over the next 3 to 5 years. We've seen that already. Hopefully we'll see that again because that's a big shot in the arm. The reliable source of domestic risk capital. And viewers, as much as we scoff at it, or if we scoff at it, is nothing to scoff at. That's a sizable pool of money that is coming in. And remember the HDFC investor, AMC investor con call yesterday, they mentioned that flows are still at 98% of peak, which is substantial in volatile markets like this. And of course, they point out that the dovish RBI, sluggish oil prices, and likely Indo-US trade deal are some of the key domestic factors. And technical factors include persistent retail buying, underpinning India's structural nature of the market. Foreign portfolios positioning is the weakest since we've had data in 2000. And there are early signs, according to Morgan Stanley, that the FI view is shifting and their proprietary sentiment indicator is in the buy zone. So multiple factors why Ridham Desai and team believe that India, as to justify how India is their top investment idea currently. Well, certainly things to watch out for, Alex.
Yeah, no doubt. And to a certain extent, I think this is also a reiteration and a building up of what Ridham himself had said just a couple of months back. In fact, he had called it at the NDTV Profit conclave that the worst is over. And in fact, the uptick is already underway in terms of economic growth and resilience. So this is something that he had called. Let's give him credit. Let's talk about some of the plays that you would need to focus on, of course, for it to improve. And we were talking about consumption and the fact that at least in the recent leg of the rally, it has not really participated to the extent that some might have thought. What happens from here, though? And Neeraj also pointed out an interesting set of companies based on a few notes that have come through as well. Neerav, if you were to look at the entire space, I think GCPL is something a lot of people are focusing on. In the FMCG basket, though, what would be your pick and what are the factors that you would watch? What are the key indicators that would tell you that now is the time to go out and buy?
I think the improvement in the rural economy. I think the rural economy has a lot of land holdings. It contributes to food security and it has a lot of gold. So I think this could be very big positives. Improvement in the rural economy and the urban landscape also improving because of the tax related proposals. More disposable income in the hands of the people. So I think all these could augur well. And why just Godrej Consumer Products Limited? We've seen some positive commentary coming in from Tata Consumer Products also. Not that bad commentary from Marico. We are seeing stocks like Jyoti Laboratories continue to perform well. So the frontline companies definitely are facing some challenges as far as volume growth is concerned. But I think the mid caps are likely to perform better. When we compare, especially with respect to the price and the value proposition.